This video is made possible through the continuing support of Andrew Cole and viewers like you on Patreon. Thank you. Hello guys, and welcome back to the shop. I have an interesting opportunity right now, and I'm going to share it with you because this is something that you don't get to do very often. I get to build Tesla coils all the time. Like, I get to play with transformers. We're gonna be doing a video coming up soon. I know you guys are kind of nuts about high voltage stuff, and I'm gonna do a little bit of that. I don't often do process videos. I don't do videos about making videos. And I'm going to do a video about how to make a green screen studio. It's a rare opportunity to go through the entire process of starting with an empty concrete room and building an entire studio. Nobody starts with an empty room and says, okay, we're gonna build a studio. We're gonna do the whole thing, soup to nuts, here you go. This is how I did it. So I'm gonna do that because I'm doing that and I might as well make a video about it and you'll like it and I'll like it and we'll both have a good time and it'll just be cool. So follow along. We're going to build a green screen studio. In my case for oratory, but the rules are pretty universal. I'm doing a very small scale one. This is just, the whole thing is designed for one specific application. A lot of people that build green screens have them where they're portable, or they have them where it's a massive installation where they spend thousands and thousands of dollars and they build a cyc wall and all that. We're gonna do a little bit of a cyc wall. That's a cyclorama. Mine's very mission specific. So my cyc wall doesn't have a bottom, it just goes straight to the floor. Mine curves on the sides because I need to be able to, you'll understand as we go. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, follow along. There's going to be a few videos in this series. Today we're starting out with the very basics. We're doing framing. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to frame for a cyc wall. My cyc wall is really simple because it's only one axis, but everything I talk about, all the rules and fundamentals to it apply whether you're doing one curve, a vertical curve, which is the most common, where they'll just come down and curve like that. So take everything I teach you a day and turn it 90 degrees. Or if you're doing a 3-axis wall where you're building it in a corner, and those are common. They suck to build, but they're common. So we're gonna go through this whole thing. The idea here is I'm doing this from the perspective of a home gamer. I am a professional, but this is in my basement. I'm building a studio in my basement, just like we built this workshop, and this workshop is built as a studio. Normal home workshops don't have cameras. Can you tell I make a lot of videos? My setup's kind of unique. For this particular setup that we're doing in there, it's much more common. It's not designed as a workshop. It's designed from the ground up as this is just a place to shoot videos. So it's kind of cool. Follow along, enjoy the show, let's get busy. So just on the other side of the wall from my shop, which is in there, is this big empty room. This is just a storage room. On the ground floor of the house upstairs, there's a bay window right here. Well, the way they did the foundation for the house, they carried that bay window shape down into here. So it's a really good place to put a cyc wall. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna frame in all around the sides here. We're gonna do 2x12 that will cut to the right shape that we want, because these corners here are too sharp. If I just frame, like if I were to just paint the wall, you'll see that and it'll look weird, it'll be a nightmare to light. So we need to round this out a little bit. And what we're gonna do is round the whole thing a little bit. It'll be largely straight in the back. We're just gonna make a much larger radius here, because this is, if you look down there, you can see that's about a 1-inch radius, maybe 3/4. Okay, so that's a really tight radius for what we're doing. We need that radius to be like, okay. A fire extinguisher radius would be way better. So we're gonna, if you follow the boat videos, fire extinguisher radius. But we're gonna frame this all in. We're gonna redo this whole thing. We're gonna make it work. It's gonna be cool. And I'm gonna take you through the whole process step by step of building a cyclorama and the entire rest of the studio, because right now, that's just framed in. I framed that in a couple days ago. This is still raw framing. The other side is the big white wall of the workshop. Bare concrete wall. Like this is a naked, empty room. There's no lighting in here except one hanging LED shop light. Like it's gutted. I got my good saw, a bit of scaffolding, a workbench. This is the lumber in stock for the cyc wall here. laser level, basic life support, you have to have tunes. And a ladder and a shop vac and a trash can, and yeah, that's where we're at. I gotta start framing. This part's really boring, and I wouldn't make a hickey on a carpenter's ass. Like, I'm a terrible carpenter. I'm gonna show you how I do it. There's probably better ways to do this. So don't just accept my word as the ultimate authority in this stuff, because I'm just a guy in a basement doing the best I can with what I got. I got 2x4x10s. I got 2x12x8s. That's the basic framing of the wall. It's all going together with 3-inch construction screws, of which I have a box right here. I'm using something like this. Big thing right off the hop, they make these, because we live in the future now, they make these in T25 Torx, and that's amazing. I am never going back to Phillips head. If you're using Phillips head screws for building stuff, stop doing that. Give these a shot. Okay, don't worry about the brand. The brand doesn't really matter. It'll say right on them, T25 Star, which I'm pretty sure is a dumb way of saying Torx. It doesn't matter if you're on red team or yellow team or blue team or whatever. You can get T25 driver bits for any of the common stuff. I do everything with an impact. T25, absolutely the best way to go. A million times easier to use. And I don't use nails. Wherever possible, I don't use nails. I'm very much a construction screw guy. Do not use drywall screws. For the love of God, do not do so. Drywall screws are for hanging drywall. That's it. If you're going into metal studs, use the fine thread. If you're going into wood studs, use the coarse thread. And that's all drywall screws are for. For framing walls, for this stuff, no, construction screws. They're totally different. They're much stronger and much more ductile. Drywall screws are super brittle, and they'll just snap. All right. I'm gonna start framing. We gotta cut some bits and draw some lines. So enjoy the show. So I have this really badass Bosch saw that I deeply love, and it's got some German engineering. Look at that shit, and it does this too. And I have found the limit of it. It won't quite do a 2x12 on a 45-degree angle. It'll do a 2x12 straight on, but it won't do it at the 45. So I got to get a little twitchy with the jigsaw. Do the best you can with what you have, where you are. And it's a pretty badass saw, but I'm asking a bit much. All right, guys, so it took some geometry, but I got there. It was not as intuitive as I would have thought. It's easy to cut an angle like the saw. It's a miter saw, so it'll do, it'll angle, right? A arbitrary angle, your wall will be different, so just make it to the angles that fit. What was important for me wasn't getting like a perfect seam here, like that's out by a little bit. I are not a finished carpenter, but what it does do is it gets the thicknesses here, the chord thickness of the wood is matched up so that when I build the wall here, I've got this, because this is going to get cut off. This front piece out here is going to go away. Or something. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to radius this, but that angle is not going to be the angle of the wall. All I've done so far is transmit that angle out to here, and what we want to do is round this off. So we'll get to that in the next step, but look at that. God. This does not look impressive until you actually try to fucking do it. And when you do it, you'll understand that I'm proud of that. That took a lot. Like, it's just two pieces of wood butted up together, but I suck as a carpenter. Really what saved my butt that is how I got there. I think this thing costs like $5. I don't know, they're cheap. Be careful, if you have old masonry nails, snap these off. Don't leave them because, man, if you catch a shoulder on that or something, they'll tear the hell out of you. But wear eye protection when you snap them off because they take off like a bullet. All right, so we're back from lunch and we've got to do the radius. Moose was awesome enough to laser cut me this, and it's 5-inch, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like, so yeah, these go up by 5s, and that takes us down all the way to fire extinguisher radius. So let's take a look at how the different ones would look over here. Because what we're going to do is trim back a little bit, just enough to catch the right line, but I have a minimum bend that will make my my wall paneling, which is just a thin plywood. So like something like that would be really awesome. And that'd be plenty. That's too tight. That's too tight. That would do, but I like the wider one. I like the wider one better. That's way too tight. That's a bigger one. We'll compare to that. That's too tight. So it's gonna be one of these two that I'm shooting for. And so we're gonna end up with a line about like that. And as long as I catch the corner, we're okay. I like that a lot. That. Because the longer I make the radius, the better it's going to work. I like that one. And now the next step is to draw the line. I'll do it with the big level, makes a good straight edge. Where I need to be is push this back to there. Because I want to have maximum material condition here while still maintaining that on the inside because there's going to be a thing there. So we're going to put this tangent to our inside corner and then our ends are going to come out straight, and we'll because this gives me the inset, and we'll just draw a straight line that way and a straight line across and meet that and run it right on down and we're set. We're going to totally ignore this. This doesn't matter because A, it's hidden behind the wall, and B, this wall not be straight is bad and has made me crazy throughout parts of this process, but it just doesn't exist in my world. We don't need that. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we're just gonna draw straight line down like that, but I wanna be consistent in the depth. So we're gonna measure and mark this out, and this is our official radius for the whole thing. So I'm gonna lay this out real quick on all 6 boards, and then we're going to cut them. And this is going to suck because I'm going to cut this. I have a bandsaw. I've never used it. I have a bandsaw that I bought out of a guy's garage like a year ago, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I don't even know if it has a decent blade. I don't even know if it has a blade in it, but we're gonna give it a shot and see if that works. First, I gotta mark all this out. But if I can do this on a bandsaw, that would not suck too bad. This sucks and is going to take forever. This sucks and is going to take forever. I have a different idea. That'll do. Now we make art again. They're done. All 6 pieces are cut. They have the proper radius. They have the right seams and everything lines up. And I've got the top half and the bottom half and both sets match and everything's cool. And it's 1735 hours. So here's the thing. I'm not a professional. I'm not even an amateur carpenter. But with enough time, I can do decent work. That's really the difference between the home gamer and the professional. The professional is going to do every given task about 1 billion times faster because they have, like, if you go to your local big box store and look up drywall tools, okay, just look at the wall of drywall tools, and then you watch a professional drywaller do that, they have totally different tools. But if you go looking up professional drywall tools, they cost thousands of, they're like insanely expensive. It's a corner thing. You squeeze it in and put it in. Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive because they use it all day, every day. And if you've ever done drywall, drywall sucks and it's tedious and it's slow. It isn't if you have the right tools. And this is the same thing. I have the right tools. I just don't have the skills to use them anywhere near at the professional level. But I got time. And I like learning stuff and I like exploring stuff. And the next time I have to do that, I'll do it faster and I'll do it better because now I have a rough idea what I'm doing. But today, which is the first time I've ever done half the things I did there, it took me a handheld jigsaw and a bandsaw that I got to like take half an hour out of my day and rebuild because I bought it from a guy out of his garage a year ago and never got around to using it. So like it's a whole thing getting it to work the first time. And like just all kinds of stuff, but just to cut these shapes, took a jigsaw, a skill saw, and a bandsaw, and way more experience and brains that I possess. But eventually, I turned all of the pieces into sawdust that needed to be, and I have the shapes that I want, and I'm happy, and the dog is happy. Yes, we got it. Is it dinner time? Okay, dog says I gotta go to dinner. We have had enough fun with wood for one day, but I will be back again tomorrow and we will pick up for doing the vertical pieces, at which point this will actually start looking for like a wall. But the lesson here is some of the stuff is hard to do. Take your time because it's okay to spend a whole day just getting 6 little pieces of wood that aren't even screwed together yet. That's fine. Because that's a step, that's like, okay, I did this part. You're not working, for 20 bucks an hour or on the clock or whatever. You got all the time in the world. Take your time and do it right. Because if you don't have enough time to do it right, you sure as hell don't have enough time to do it twice. So that's where we are for today. We'll be back in the next episode where we'll put it all together. You guys have fun. I'm Chris Bowden. As always, I'll see you next time.